All right, today we are going to be working on keyword notes. We're going to work on keywords for operations, equations, and inequalities. And these are words that we would commonly see in word problems. Remember, if you need more time to write something down, feel free to pause the video. Make sure you answer the questions as we go. For operation keywords, the first one we're going to start with is add. Keywords that would commonly be seen with this one is combined, total, increase, or sum. The next one that we would look at is subtract. Words that we would see in a word problem for this would be reduce, decrease, less, and fewer. Our next one would be multiply. This is represented with an X, the big dot, or two values touching each other. Keywords we would see in word problems would be each, per, by, and product. Our last operation is division. The four common ones that we would see would be quotient, split, ratio, or share. All right, let's go ahead and move on to equations and inequality keywords. Let's go ahead and look at this red sign. This sign is the less than symbol. Keywords that you would see for this one is below, smaller, or under. Let's look at the blue symbol. This symbol is the greater than symbol. Keywords you would see would be more than, above, or bigger. In the middle, we have the equal sign. Keywords you would see for this one is, equivalent, or same. Looking at the green one, this represents less than or equal to. Keywords you would see for this one would be maximum and at most. And looking at our very last one, this one represents greater than or equal to. The most common keywords would be minimum or at least. Now that we've gone through all the keywords, we're going to put them to use in our examples. So let's go ahead and take a look at our examples. I'm going to read it first, identify what the words mean that is important and the values that are important, and then work to write it on my line. So, number 1 says the ratio of x to 2 is greater than 11. So when I read back through this, I'm going to put a box around all of my keywords. So the first thing I see is ratio. This represents division. So I'm going to put a division sign right above it. Now what comes next is x to 2. So I'm going to circle those values. Those are the numbers or values that are going to be divided. Then we see this next part, greater than. I'm going to put it in a box. I then write my greater than sign above this. And I see the value 11 at the end, which I know is important, so I put a circle around it. Now that I have this information, it makes it really easy on me to set this up. So we know that a ratio is division. How would we write this in an equation? What we would do is we'd set this up as a fraction. So we're going to set this up as a fraction. So x to 2, it says it in order, cowboy leads the horse. Our greater than sign, and then 11 is basically like our total, so that goes at the end. So our equation would be x divided by 2 is greater than 11. Let's go ahead and look at the second example. Again, we're putting boxes around important things, important keywords, and circles around values. So it says the difference between x and 6 is less than 14. The first keyword I notice is the word difference. This represents subtraction, so I'm going to put a subtraction sign underneath it because that's where I have room. As I keep reading, I notice that x and 6 are what they're talking about for the difference. That's what's going to be subtracted when we write this out. Next, I see another keyword, which is less than. This sign is going to have the smaller end in the front, and right behind it we have our total value here that we're comparing with. So we circle that as well. So now we're going to do the difference between x and 6 is less than 14. So the value that matches the first keyword, so difference, those are the numbers that you're going to be subtracting. So we have x minus 6, put our less than sign, and that is supposed to be a 14. So make sure you make that a 14 instead of an 11. Good gracious. So change this to a 14. My bad. Let's go ahead and look at this last example. My 14 is going to disappear. So it says, at the basketball game, Junior wanted to get some snacks. Each snack, S, costs $2 each. Write the equation to show how many snacks, S, he can buy with $10. So this is where we're going to look for some keywords. So at the basketball game, Junior wanted to get some snacks. That does not give us any information besides a context. First word I see is each. Each means that we are going to multiply two values together. So let's look to see what those values are. So snacks, so the letter S is what we're going to put because each is touching the word snacks. That means that that's what we're going to multiply. So snacks we're going to represent with S in our equation. And the number 2 for $2. Notice there's an each behind that as well. So that means that that would be the multiplication. Then as we continue, it says write the equation. So I'm going to put equation in a box. That means I'm going to use the equal sign to show how many snacks S he can buy with $10. So $10 is also important because that is our total at the end. So now we're going to go ahead and set this up as an equation. So we know that we're multiplying. How do we represent multiplication when we're putting it in an inequality? We represent this with the number and the letter touching. So 2 and x would touch. We'd put our equal sign and then our total on the other side of 10. Hopefully these keywords are really helpful to help you find what you need to do. Some of them are more common than what we're used to, such as difference or sum. We're very familiar with those words, but other words such as ratio or each, we might not be as familiar with. Slow down as you're working through these and be sure to pay attention to your keywords.